As we have seen this past year, the world has become a more dangerous place. From Afghanistan to Ukraine, we have seen America's enemies on the march. Today, our country faces threats from enemies the world over. Emboldened adversaries, Russia, Iran, China, and violent extremist organizations in Africa and Afghanistan are all attempting to test us in ways we haven't seen in some time. As our nation faces these emerging and amplified threats, the need to support and modernize our defenses is increasingly important. And a vital component of that, which is becoming more essential every day, is the use of what are known as critical minerals. They include things like rare earth minerals, cobalt, and lithium, which are used to produce engines, night vision equipment, and other modern military technologies. America's defense in the modern era increasingly demands the use of these critical minerals. For instance, the Air Force's premier fighter jet, the F-22, is made with layers of titanium alloy, much of which is sourced from Russia and China. This makes it more important by the day for our nation to have a sufficient stockpile of and reliable access to these materials. But at this very moment, our enemies like Communist China dominate the supply chain of these increasingly vital materials, threatening our readiness in an emergency situation and jeopardizing our national security. They're on the move in regions we've disgracefully abandoned in particular. In Afghanistan, for instance, the Taliban is negotiating with the Chinese Communist Party on mineral extraction. They've already confirmed 60 contracts, giving our adversaries access to a mineral bed valued at close to $3 trillion. We need to bolster the U.S. supply of critical minerals, move toward ending our nation's dependence on China, and protect America's national security interests. So today, I am partnering with my friend and Democratic colleague, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, on new legislation to do exactly that. We call it the Hard Rock Act, or Homeland Acceleration of Recovering Deposits and Renewing Onshore Critical Keystones Act. This bipartisan bill does two things. First, it would refocus the nation's stockpile to ensure we are securing the strategic and critical materials we need to meet our national security demands for the modern era. The Defense Department is required to maintain a stockpile of critical and strategic materials known as the National Defense Stockpile, or NDS, which in times of war or national emergencies is used to provide defense and essential civilian manufacturers with the immediate access to the raw materials required to produce such goods. The reality is that right now, when it comes to certain strategic and critical minerals, the United States is simply insufficiently developed to meet military and essential civilian needs. According to a congressional report from 2019, the U.S. was 100% import reliant on 14 minerals on the critical minerals list and more than 75% import reliant on 10 other critical minerals. Our bipartisan bill gives the NDS manager the authority to update a list of strategic and critical minerals to be acquired that reflects America's modern-day defense needs. Second, our bill pushes the Pentagon to work with our partners and allies worldwide to ensure stable access to these minerals. It requires DoD to examine potential updates of statutory authority for a broad collaboration with our partners and allies to ensure reliable access to critical and strategic materials from our friends around the world. Folks, it's past time we take seriously the risk we face in allowing China to run our national defense and critical mineral supply chain. For decades, China has been working to build a global monopoly on the critical minerals that our nation needs to defend itself and create the future. America cannot fail to make important investments in securing the supply chain and strategic minerals. I'm pleased to work with Senator Manchin to ensure that America has the essential materials we need to meet our defense needs for an increasingly dangerous world.